Hey YouTube, this is Raj, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 9 axe enchantments in Minecraft, so why don't we get started? So the first thing that I should explain before I get into the list is that this video is meant to be more of a summary of each enchantment. If you want a more detailed look of each enchantment, I have videos on every enchantment for the axe. Also, how I rank this is based on what I like most, and also what I think increases the use of it, and really what's fun and unique in Minecraft. So the 9th enchantment for the axe is the Curse of Vanishing. Definitely the worst enchantment in Minecraft. It basically means that your item will disappear when you die, which is really bad if you load up your axe with a lot of good enchantments. It's one of 2 curse enchantments, so you can only get it through chest loot, fishing, and villager trading. So if you get an enchanted axe from one of these sources, make sure that it doesn't have Curse of Vanishing on it, although at that point you really can't do anything about it. And just check any books that you get from these sources also, so that you don't accidentally put Curse of Vanishing onto an axe. So the 8th enchantment for the axe is the Bane of Arthropods enchantment. And the thing I should explain is that the axe is unique when it comes to all of the items in Minecraft because it has 2 different uses. You can use it for either a weapon or also for things like chopping down wood. So the Bane of Arthropods is more about using it as a weapon. So at each level it increases the amount of damage by 2.5 that you do to arthropod mobs. The maximum level is 5. And when you hit a mob, it basically does slowness 4 for 0.5 seconds per level. So the maximum is 3.5 that it'll actually slow down the mob. So if you look at this, it means that you can actually do 12.5 more damage to arthropod mobs. Now if you're wondering which mobs those are, they're basically things like spiders, cave spiders, silverfish, bees, and endermites. So there really aren't that many mobs that it's actually useful against. So what I thought I'd do is quickly show you how it works against this mob. So here is a cave spider, and it has a little more health than a normal spider. So I have an axe with Bane of Arthropods. I'll hit it and it basically instantly killed that mob. And the reason I rank this enchantment so low, even though it does a lot of damage to those mobs, is because there aren't that many mobs. It's also incompatible with smite and sharpness. So the number 7 enchantment for the axe is the Smite enchantment. So it does 2.5 damage per level to undead mobs. The maximum level is 5. So it basically does 12.5 damage to undead mobs. So if you're wondering what mobs those are, it's skeletons, zombies, withers, wither skeletons, zombie pigmen, skeleton horses, strays, husks, phantoms, and drowned. So as you can see, there's a good amount of mobs compared to something like the Bane of Arthropods, which only had 5. This has 10. So I'm just going to show you how this works with an actual enchantment on the axe. So you can see there's 2 zombies on here, and if I use axe on this guy, it pretty much instantly kills him, and it instantly kills that guy. So it definitely is useful in the amount of damage it does. It's also incompatible with Bane of Arthropods or with sharpness. So the number 6 enchantment for the axe is the sharpness enchantment. And what it does is it basically increases the amount of damage you do to all mobs. So this is unlike smite, which only applies to undead mobs, or Bane of Arthropods, which only applies to arthropods. This applies to all mobs, so it's a lot more useful than those enchantments. So the amount of damage it does is 1 default as the base, and then there's 0.5 damage per level, and the maximum is 3.5. So in order to get a diamond axe with sharpness 5, you actually have to use an anvil. So basically you gotta find a book that has sharpness 5 and sacrifice it into the axe. So it should be clear by now that I've ranked all of the weapon enchantments for the axe pretty low. The reason for this is because you can only put basically 1 weapon enchantment onto an axe. You either have to choose between Bane of Arthropods, Smite, or Sharpness. So that means you can only put 1 enchantment versus something like the sword, where you can actually put multiple weapon enchantments and increase the amount of damage you do when you use the sword. So because of that, it actually makes these weapon enchantments a lot less valuable to actually put onto your axe. So this means the other enchantments become a lot more valuable because they're more useful for the axe. So I have a zombie in here, and I'm going to quickly check out my sharpness 5 enchantment, see how it does against a zombie. So you can see I hit it once and I hit it twice. So unlike the smite, which pretty much instantly killed, you can see with the zombie it took 2 hits. But this applies to all mobs, so you can pretty much do more damage to all mobs just compared to one type of mob. So the number 5 enchantment for the axe is the Fortune enchantment. And the Fortune enchantment basically increases the amount of drops when you break a block. So the maximum level is 3. So this isn't as valuable when it comes to an axe because there aren't a lot of things that are specific to the axe and this enchantment. Now this enchantment's really useful when it comes to something like a pickaxe, but when it comes to an axe, it just isn't as useful. So an example of this is something like the ores. So you can tell that it increases the amount of drops for things like coal, diamond, emeralds, quartz, and lapis lazuli, but this only applies to the pickaxe. If you use an axe to try to do this, you destroy the block. The next one is stuff like redstone, carrots, sea lanterns, glowstone, melons, nether warts, sweet berries, potatoes, beetroot seeds, wheat seeds. It'll basically increase the amount of drops of 1 per a level, so it would increase the drops potentially by 3. So if you look at this, you can tell that some of these you potentially could use the axe for, but a lot of them you really can't. So the next one is that tall grass will drop 2 per level, so the maximum could be 6 with Fortune 3. So if you look at this table, it also can increase the drops. Some of this could apply to axes, so it can increase the chance of getting flint. That doesn't really apply to axes. Jungle saplings, other saplings, sticks, and apples. So you can see it still isn't that huge of a change, but at least it's a little better for stuff like saplings here. And if you look overall at all of the stuff with Fortune, it just isn't that applicable to the axe, and if you have a Fortune enchantment, it's a lot more useful on something like a pickaxe. Number 4 is the Silk Touch enchantment, and Silk Touch is incompatible with Fortune, so you have to choose one or the other. And what this enchantment does is it drops the block itself, it doesn't drop the item that you usually get out of it. For example, something like a bookcase, if you break it with Silk Touch, it'll drop the bookcase. Normally if you break a bookcase, it'll just drop the books. So the maximum level is 1, it has 1 function to it. So these are some examples where you put Silk Touch on a pickaxe, it'll actually be useful for breaking that block, but that doesn't really apply to the axe as we're talking about it. Here are some stuff with a shovel that has Silk Touch. You can see there's only 2 examples of this, and then this is the stuff that probably would apply if you put Silk Touch onto an axe. So bees nests, beehives, bookshelves, blue ice, campfires, glass panes, coral fans, glowstone, grass blocks, gravel, ice, leaves, melon, mushroom blocks, mycelium, podzol, sea lantern, and turtle eggs. So if you look at the stuff that would specifically apply to probably the axe, it would be things like the bookshelves, probably bees nests, beehives, but nothing that I've read says that these wouldn't apply to the axe. So number 3 is the Unbreaking enchantment. And the Unbreaking enchantment is really useful because it reduces the durability when you use that item. So when you use an axe normally, it'll reduce the durability by 1 each time you use it. Now this enchantment has a maximum level of 3, so the formula for this is 100 divided by, in brackets, level plus 1 bracket. If you have Unbreaking 3, this means 4 into 100, so there's a 25% chance it'll reduce the durability. And the reason why Unbreaking is so valuable and so valuable with the axe is because it extends the lifetime of that axe, so you can keep using it, and it pretty much quadruples the amount of durability that you get out of that axe before it's done. So the number 2 enchantment for the axe is the Mending enchantment, and the maximum level is 1. It can be obtained through chest loot, fishing, raids, and villager trading. So how it works is when you get 1 XP, it repairs basically the axe in this case with 2 durability. So the item has to be in your hand, your offhand, or your armor slot. If you have multiple mending items, one is chosen at random, and if that item has full durability, the XP will be applied to the player total, so their enchantment levels. So this is really valuable because it means you can keep using that axe as long as you keep getting XP. The number 1 enchantment for the axe is the Efficiency enchantment. So what it does is basically increases the speed when you're actually mining a block. It can be enchanted onto pickaxes, axes, and also shovels. The maximum level is 5, and basically you have to be mining the correct block with the correct tool. So if you're mining something like wood, you'll have to be using an axe on it in order for the efficiency to work. So Efficiency 5 can only be applied onto either a stone or diamond axe by using an anvil. So basically you'd have to sacrifice a book into the axe in order to get that enchantment onto it. So there's a unique thing with axes and also efficiency, that axes can actually stun shields 25% of the time, plus 5% per each level. So if you do the math, there's a 50% chance at efficiency 5 you can actually stun a shield if you have an axe with efficiency 5. So that was the top 9 enchantments for the axe in Minecraft. So if you're interested, I have more detailed videos on each enchantment you can check out, and I also have an axe enchantment guide that you can also check out. If you like this video, please give me a like. If you want me to keep producing content, please give me a subscribe. You can always leave a comment, I appreciate that. And stay classy, YouTube. This is Raj.